a series of people with different disabilities.
When it comes to talking about sexual violence, the ones usually left out are the people with disabilities, especially those living in long-term care facilities like adult family homes, assisted living, and nursing homes.
That's often because we tend to think that disabled people are somehow not affected by sexual assault, when in reality, individuals with disabilities are up to 7 times more likely to experience sexual abuse than non-disabled adults.
The truth is, abuse happens everywhere and can happen to anyone. That is why we formed the Alliance to End Sexual Violence in Long-Term Care.
We made this video because we want long-term care residents to know that while we might not always be able to prevent sexual abuse, we do have the power to do something about it. We can be advocates right where we are.
When residents are empowered, supported, and know that our voices are heard, survivors are much more likely to speak out and make sure abuse doesn't continue.
What does it look like when a long-term care facility creates an environment that supports advocacy? Here are 6 different principles that we call welcome indicators.
The Alliance to End Sexual Violence in Long-Term Care presents Welcome Indicators, 6 ways to promote resident advocacy in long-term care. Welcome Indicator 1. Resident-centered practices. When residents are prioritized, we are empowered to speak out about sexual abuse.
Priscilla.
Resident-centered practices are important so that residents feel like they have choices and are in control of their own lives. I was being told I had to take a shower at 8 o'clock in the morning. That didn't work for me, and so I felt like, well, isn't this supposed to be my home? Resident-centered practices is practicing what the resident wants and needs, and that the staff respect what the resident is asking for and hearing what they have to say. When they feel heard, they're more likely to speak out when something is going wrong. I think that staff that actually come on time and are sensitive to what I've asked and what's being done to my body, it's a good indication that I'm being listened to. So that's what it looks like when facilities follow resident-centered care practices.
Priscilla in an animated bathroom.
I'm ready for my shower now.
A staffer in scrubs enters.
Priscilla,
Hello.
ready to go?
I'm ready.
Okay.
They exit.
Welcome Indicator 2. Privacy. When personal space is ignored, sexual abuse can thrive.
John.
Privacy to me means that you're in a space where you are respected, you're allowed to be yourself and feel confident in your surrounding and be comfortable. I was in a long-term care facility at one time. It's a different environment, and respect and consideration you get from the aides and the nurses and people that just come in and out. You notice that. In a long-term care facility, you may be undressing, or if you are changing clothes or indisposed using bathroom facilities and things like that, you are likely to be in a vulnerable situation. Having at least a curtain, some type of privacy with something like that is very helpful in the larger scheme of things. Everyone deserves privacy in their own home.
John sits in an animated bedroom.
Come in.
The door opens and a staffer enters.
Hey John, I heard you need some help. Did you want me to shut the door first?
Yes, please.
Okay, great.
She closes the door.
Welcome Indicator 3. Dignity. When residents are treated with respect, we're more comfortable accessing support if sexual abuse occurs.
Vicky.
Dignity is important to anyone, any human. It's a right. But if abuse happens, the person should not feel any shame because it's not their fault. If people are always treated with respect and dignity, you would less likely have things like that happen. That's why dignity is important.
Vicky and a staffer in an animated hallway.
Peter, I received this notice and it is totally inaccessible to me.
Because of the font, it's too small. The font's too small, huh?
Yes.
All right. You want me to make another copy, or can I read it to you now?
If you could read it to me this time, but in the future, please make sure it doesn't happen.
Certainly.
Welcome Indicator 4, Autonomy. When you're free to be yourself without retaliation, you can assert your rights in a way that works for you.
Willie.
Autonomy is important to me because I want to live life in my own way. My room is my personal space where I can have my room door closed without people just walking in, to be able to do what I want to do in my room. Decorate how I want to decorate. Autonomy means my life can look the way I want it to look like.
Willie holds up a picture of a dog in a brightly decorated bedroom.
I want to be happy. I want to feel free of abuse. I want to be able to speak about abuse without retaliation. Autonomy is communication with all people. People who are nonverbal, verbal, who are deaf, who are blind. All people have ways of communication, and everybody has the right to somebody they trust, somebody to talk to that understands them.
Welcome Indicator 5, Safety. When residents are safe and informed, we are better equipped to set healthy boundaries.
Richard.
Safety would be like having your door open and not worrying. Safety would be able to go to any part of the facility. Should be able to freely be yourself without worrying. They have no right to stop you from having a relationship. Sometimes it's same-sex relationship. It shouldn't matter. With my relationship with Priscilla, it's been a heaven sent. It's helped me heal. It's helped me get back on my feet. So relationships are healthy. You know when you're in a bad facility, when you're ignored or left calling for help and nobody comes. That's a bad environment. You deserve to be safe in the environment you're living in. When residents are informed, they feel safe.
Richard and Priscilla.
Speaking of healthy relationships,
He steps forward in an animated bedroom
Excuse us.
and closes the door.
Welcome Indicator 6, Access to Advocacy. Disclosing abuse is intimidating. Without a clear process for advocacy, residents can be conditioned into silence.
Ian.
When people don't have access to advocacy, sexual abuse, physical abuse, mental abuse can go on in a facility, and it can just continue and continue and continue. It's only exposed when people speak up. And sometimes people need help with that speaking up. We don't always have all the answers. Sometimes we need somebody to turn to be able to help us find the answers, the solutions, like an ombudsman or a social worker. Everything comes back to having access to advocacy.
Ian turns to a staffer in an animated hallway.
Peter, is there an advocate around today?
there is. I can go find them for you.
Please, thank you.
You're welcome.
The staffer exits and a woman enters.
Hi, I'm with a long-term care ombudsman program. Is there something I can help you with today?
The Welcome Indicators. Resident-centered practices. Privacy. Dignity. Autonomy. Safety. Access to advocacy.
Make sure you have somebody you trust, someone you can talk to.
Abuse happens. You don't have to report, but if you do, keep telling people until someone listens.
You can always report abuse in Washington by calling 1-866-END-HARM or 1-866-363-4276.
If you experience an emergency, you can always call 911.
And if you are worried about retaliation after reporting abuse, talk to your long-term care ombuds or another person you trust.
You deserve respect. You deserve to be believed. You deserve safety.
In memory of John Wagner.
This project was supported by grant number 2016-FW-AX-K008, awarded by the Office on Violence Against Women, U.S. Department of Justice. The opinions, findings, conclusions, and recommendations expressed in this publication, program, or exhibition are those of the authors and do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Justice, Office on Violence Against Women.